Hey, we're going to do a video now introducing the Prophet Sequential, well, the Dave Smith Instruments Sequential Prophet 6 step sequencer. We're going to look at the step sequencer just like we did with the Mofo X4 and the Moog Sub 37. I am happy to say that the Sequential Prophet 6, and I'm not sure why it's just the Sequential Prophet 6 and not the Sequential Circuits Prophet 6. Maybe Yamaha didn't sell the entire name back, I'm not sure. So if you hadn't heard, anyway, Yamaha bought that name and then they gave it back to Dave Smith so he could use it for this. And the font is exactly the same. I'm looking at it right now anyway. So we're going to go through the step sequencer. It's super easy. It is very similar to the Sub 37. I think Dave Smith learned some stuff, or maybe they were just limited because this synth is a little more low-tech. Well, it's voltage controlled oscillators. It's as analog, or they tried to make it as analog as they could make it. And the step sequencer is massively easy to use. Again, much like the Sub 37. And if they could work that into the X4 somehow, that'd be great, and the Tetra as well. By the way, my Dave Smith Instruments X4, I had to take it to one of the techs here in Deutschland. There really was line noise. The exact same patch between the Tetra and the X4 showed that there was a disparity between the signal, how clean it was. I took it to dropped it off at the tech, and he's like, oh yeah, obviously problems with this. It took a while to convince the Dave Smith guy that I should take it to the technician, but eventually he gave in and I delivered it. But while I was up north delivering it to the tech guy, I stopped and got an Eichbaum Räuberbier. It's an amber, a red beer, and there's not a lot of red beers in Germany, so this is probably one of my favorites, and got a few of those, so I'll be enjoying this. During part of the interview, I've also got some Weihnachtsbier and Christmas beers left that I gotta drink, because it is the holiday season right now. So anyway, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hopefully your holidays are going nice, and you're drinking a beer or a Coke or whatever, and you're rocking out with some synthesizers and or progressive rock music, because that's cool too. So anyway, cheers. Hey, we're going to give an example of the new Dave Smith Instruments Sequential Prophet 6. I am proud to say that the Sequential Prophet 6 is substantially easier to program the step sequencer on than the Mofo X4 or the Tetra. It's actually fairly similar to the Moog Sub 37 and how you program it, and we're going to give you a couple examples and work through some stuff. Your key buttons here for working with the sequencer are here in the sequencer part. That makes sense. And what you do, let's do a short 4-note sequence. You hit record, then you play the notes you want in the sequence. So let's do 8 notes, not 4. And then it counts it off, if you were watching. So for each step that you enter, it counts it off. So I've got 8 steps in this. I turn off the record part, and now I just hit play. Now, interestingly, this does not transpose on the fly. So if it's playing and you hit another note, it just adds the note to it, which lets you play notes on top of the sequence, which isn't bad either. So, if you have a sequence going, and by the way, you can have up to 64 steps, which is pretty cool. And you can play something on top of it, which is very nice. You can also tie the notes together You can also have rests. So let's do an 8-note sequence with a rest in it. We hit record. That automatically clears the buffer. And we do 1, 2, 3, 4. Hit the select tenths increment button, and that gives you a rest. Notice that increased to 5. Let's have 2 rests. Now it increased to 6. So now we've got 8 steps total, and I think steps number 5 and 6 are rests. So let's hear it. Okay, you can increase the tempo. It's got beats per minute, that's awesome. Or you can tap tempo, set it. Also, sort of like the Moog Sub 37, which is only 2-voice paraphonic, and because this thing is 6-voice, or well, if it's in polyphonic mode, you can play up to 6 notes. You can literally do a sequence with chords, which is very cool. Let's do some simple chords. Okay, it also lets you do, okay, again, anywhere from 1 to 64 steps. So if you want to do odd time signatures or polyrhythms, kind of like I like to do, that's not too hard either. And so I did 14 steps, little 7/8 thing there. Okay, more badly played stuff. So anyway, you can set up a riff and play with it. The problem is, well, partial problem, is you're stuck using the same sound to play on top of whatever the sequence was. Remember, this thing is only 1-voice multi-timbral. You can only have one type of sound playing. It is not multi-timbral. So whatever you have the sequence going with that patch, you have to use that same patch sound to play with it. But it's still pretty awesome, I think. So you're saying, well, that kind of stinks. You can't transpose it. Actually, you can. I'll show you how. Okay, you started playing, and then if you want to transpose it, once it's playing, you hold down the record button, and then you press a note on the keyboard to transpose the pitch. So, again, as you see, you can do chords, you can do riffs, you can also tie notes together, so this will be the last thing I'll show. Let's do another 8-note sequence, and we'll tie a couple notes together. So record, that clears the buffer. To tie notes together, remember before, if we press this button, the 10 select, it would create a pause. Well, if the button's held down and you hit the 10 select, it will create a tie. So we do this. Let's do 16 notes and see how that goes. In fact, we'll do a chord. Let's just do a rhythmic chord. That'll be interesting. So the chord. So there you have it. That's the main gist of using the step sequencer with the Dave Smith Instruments Sequential Prophet 6. Once again, I don't know why they dropped the circuits. Sequential circuits. Really awesome. I'm happy about this. As I said in the start of this, it's significantly better than the Mofo X4. So, and by the way, this synthesizer sounds great. I haven't even gotten into the rest of that. I just wanted to cover the step sequencer because I was impressed that it works so easily. So anyway, enjoy your holiday break, whatever you're doing. I'm drinking another Vinox beer, and it's good. Cheers.